Hi, I'm Charlotte, I'm from Southampton and I wrote the Obsessive Compulsive Disorder Diary and I'm currently studying art. The OCD is quite common, but I think a lot of people aren't diagnosed, or if you have a friend or someone you might not know they have OCD, but about 1 in 50 people do suffer with it. I think my OCD got quite bad when I was in about year 11, so about age 15. I didn't enjoy school. I think in general I was quite vulnerable to anxiety, and that's when my OCD kicked in and got quite bad. So I have both obsessions and compulsions. So I have the intrusive thoughts and then I have the urge to act on that, and before therapy I would always act on that, and that would obviously feed my OCD and make it worse. An example of an intrusive thought would be I haven't turned the oven off or the hob off, and then I would check before bed perhaps, and then if I was going out I'd check again, and a few years ago that would be me standing in front of the hob going off, 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 off multiple times, turning around, clapping. So when I was out the house I could say, oh yeah, I did turn it off, I clapped, I turned around, I did a dance, so I know it's definitely off. So one thing I worried about a lot was technology, and I was worried pictures would upload, I'd send messages that were inappropriate that I didn't want to send. So I had this phone to start with, and I would worry that the Bluetooth wasn't off, that the apps were all open and that would make something send or upload. So I started checking the Bluetooth was off, the phone was locked, all the apps were closed, making sure my camera hadn't taken pictures of me at times when I didn't want it to, and that caused me a lot of stress. So in the end I thought I'd get rid of the phone, that would get rid of the stress. So I got this basic phone, still had a camera, so I still managed to worry about photos being taken, and it still had Bluetooth, so I worried about that. So in the end I got rid of that phone and got the most basic phone in the shop with no camera, nothing, but I still managed to find something to worry about. So there's no way of avoiding your OCD, you do need to tackle it, otherwise it will just keep being there but in different ways. So I went to the doctor and said I think I might have OCD, and they referred me to my local services. So I had my initial assessment and then I had to wait a few months before being seen, and then I had CBT therapy. I think I had about 6 sessions, and then I was had the tools to keep working on my OCD myself. I think my OCD has changed since my treatment in a few ways, where things I used to worry about I now don't worry about because I've managed that, but I can hear new thoughts creeping in which are a bit more intense. So I think my OCD has tried to get a bit smarter and a bit more intrusive, so I've had to keep on top of it. So I wrote my book because I did have to wait about 6 months before being seen, and I was searching online for a book like mine, but I couldn't find anything that was quite easy to read, quite short, with loads of activities. So after therapy I began to write the book just for me, so I could come back to it if I was slipping into my old behaviours, and then I realised it was quite helpful and hopefully it would help other people. So it's just a way for me to share my story and help people waiting for therapy and after therapy. So when I was younger I'd never sing along to the song I Wish I Was a Punk Rocker with Flowers in My Hair, because I thought if I said that I would turn into a punk rocker with flowers in my hair, which wouldn't be bad at all if I had some flowers in my hair. But yeah, when I was younger I used to think things, or I thought if I wish it, or if I said something that would happen, or if I said something horrible then I'd be punished in some way. And so I avoided singing that song even though I really liked it. So I had to write something in therapy which would make me feel uncomfortable. So I wrote, I hope my house is on fire and that my parents die, because it was all about understanding that just because you think something or say something or write something, it doesn't mean it will come true. So since I began to write the book I realised I was actually slightly creative, and that's what made me want to do my first art and design course, and now I'm off to do my master's in fine art. So yeah, it's all very exciting and definitely not all doom and gloom.